Hello and welcome back to Inside the 20. Today, we are going over the NFL recap for week 2. It was a very eventful week in the NFL. A lot of good headlines, a lot of bad injuries. Why is Joe Burrow out 3 months? Bro, in Jake Browning we trust, I guess. But yeah, let's get into it. So, speaking of my Bengals, in one of our game of the weeks this year, as they pulled out a huge 31-27 dub over the Jacksonville Jaguars in Cincinnati to start 2-0 for the first time since 2018. Quite ironically, they went 6-10 that year. But other than that, some huge news, as I already mentioned. Joe Burrow left the game in the second quarter after taking a sack with a toe injury and was listed as questionable until the fourth quarter, where they ruled him out. Backup quarterback Jake Browning threw 3 interceptions, but battled back with 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning sneak after a 92-yard drive capped by 2 fourth-down conversions. Jamar Chase carried the offense with 14 catches for 165 yards and a touchdown. He cooked for my fantasy team. While T. Higgins added a long score, and rookie Mitchell Tinsley. Oh my gosh, dude. Somebody needs to make an edit of this dude. This dude is absolutely tough, bro. Mitchell Tinsley, learn the name, you have to. Literally, he is incredible. He snagged his first career touchdown on a highlight one-hander. Head top for the one-hander. OBJ type stuff in the back of the end zone. And to be honest, Cincinnati's defense was not the best, but they limited the damage still, allowing only 1 touchdown off Browning's turnovers. Trevor Lawrence threw for almost 300 yards and 3 tutties to De'Ami Brown, Brishel Tootin, and Travis Etienne, who also rushed for 71 yards. But a costly pick in the end zone and a failed fourth down conversion kept Jacksonville from closing it out. The Bengals showed toughness in a chaotic game, though Burrow's injury clouds their promising start. 2 Dallas Cowboys get the dub over the Giants 40-37 in overtime. The Cowboys were able to edge the Giants 40-37 in overtime, with Brandon Aubrey drilling a 64-yard field goal at the end of regulation to tie it before hitting a 46-yarder to win the game. Dak Prescott threw for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns, extending Dallas's winning streak over New York to 9 games. The victory also marked Brian Schottenheimer's first as an NFL head coach. The fourth quarter saw 5 lead changes, with rookie Cam Scadaboo and Miles Sanders trading scores before Prescott and Russell Wilson exchanged touchdown passes in the final minute. Wilson briefly put New York ahead up with 25 seconds left, but Prescott was able to drive down and set up Aubrey's historic tying kick. In OT, Wilson was intercepted, allowing Prescott to scramble into range for Aubrey's winner, making him the first kicker to end both regulation and overtime with field goals in the same game. Penalties crushed the Giants, who were flagged 14 times for 160 yards, their worst showing in decades. Malik Neighbors, who reeled in 167 yards for 2 touchdowns, and Wan'Dale Robinson, who had 142 yards and a touchdown, powered New York's offense. While CeeDee Lamb logged his 4th straight 100-yard game for Dallas. Thank you for saving my fantasy team. The wild finish highlighted both quarterbacks' resilience, but Prescott and the Cowboys delivered the decisive blow to avoid a winless start and keep their dominance over New York alive. Now, the third game to pick was a little tough. I went with Indianapolis over Denver 29-28. The Colts edged themselves a 2-0 start with a dramatic 29-28 win at home over Denver, as kicker Spencer Schrader redeemed himself after missing a 60-yard field goal at the end of regulation, though a leverage penalty gave him a second chance from 45 yards, and he nailed it to secure Indy's first 2-0 start since 2009. Schrader went 5 for 5 on field goals and now was a perfect 9 for 9 on the season, while Jonathan Taylor carried the offense with 165 rushing yards and a touchdown catch. Daniel Jones added 316 passing yards and 2 total scores, while the defense delivered late with Cam Bynum's interception and a missed Denver field goal setting up the winner. Cam Bynum's celebration was so funny. I don't know if y'all saw it. He took the ball and he shoved it like in his jersey right here. And so he went over to Blue, the Colts mascot, and he did his little dance. It was so funny. Y'all got to search that up. Remarkably, though, the Colts didn't punt for the second straight week, setting up a Super Bowl era first. Denver struck early behind Bo Nix, who threw 3 first-half touchdowns and finished with 206 yards, while J.K. Dobbins added 76 rushing yards and a score. Troy Franklin had a career day with 8 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown, but costly penalties and miscues haunted the Broncos. After leading 28-20 in the third, they faltered, with coach Sean Payton laminating that the team let it slip out of our hands. The finish showcased both Indy's resilience and Denver's missed opportunities. All right, so some other scores around the league. We got the Packers and the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. The Packers get the 9-point dub over the NFC East Commanders 27-18. Jordan Love threw for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Packers beat the Commanders 27-18 to start 2-0. Tucker Kraft broke out with 124 yards and a touchdown, while Josh Jacobs added 84 yards and a touchdown. Micah Parsons led the defense that sacked Jaden Daniels 4 times. Washington managed little offense early and lost Austin Eckler to an Achilles injury as Dimitri Wise Jr. with a quadriceps injury. To Detroit, the Motor City, the Lions put the wheels on the Bears, getting a 52-21 dub. Jared Goff tied his career high with 5 tutties, throwing 3 to Amon-Ra St. Brown as the Lions crushed Chicago. Detroit piled over 500 yards at a franchise record 8.8 yards per play, with St. Brown posting 115 yards and Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery combining for 151 rushing yards and 2 scores. Caleb Williams threw 2 touchdowns for Chicago, but was intercepted, sacked 4 times, and eventually benched in the blowout. To Tennessee, the Rams, after a shaky start, get the win 33-19 over Cam Ward. Matthew Stafford threw for 298 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Rams beat the Titans 33-19 to start 2-0. Devontae Adams had 106 yards and a score. Puka Nacua added 91 yards and a rushing touchdown, and the defense sacked rookie Cam Ward 5 times. Ward threw 2 touchdowns to Alec Amanor, but Tennessee's skid hit 8 with costly mistakes. To Miami, Patriots win 33-27 in a crazy one in Miami. Drake May had 3 touchdowns as the Patriots beat the Dolphins 33-27 for Mike Vrabel's first win as a Patriot head coach. Ramondre Stevenson totaled 142 yards, Jalen Gibson scored on a 90-yard kick return, and Marte Mapu sealed it with an interception. Tua Tagovailoa threw for 315 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Miami fell to 0-2. Miami also struggled with penalties and miscues that cost them key opportunities. To New Orleans, the 49ers win it 26-21 over the Saints. Mac Jones, the backup for San Francisco, in place for Brock Purdy, threw for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Niners beat the Saints by 5. He spread the ball to 8 receivers despite missing George Kittle, connecting with Luke Farrell, Christian McCaffrey, and Jawan Jennings all for scores. Spencer Rattler threw 3 touchdowns for New Orleans, and Alvin Kamara added 120 yards, but a late fourth-quarter sack sealed the game. San Francisco overcame injuries to extend their streak of strong starts on the road. To East Rutherford, the Bills absolutely stomped the Jets 30-10. James Cook rushed for 132 yards and 2 scores, and Josh Allen added 148 passing yards and 59 rushing yards as the Bills beat the Jets by 20. Buffalo's defense dominated, holding New York to 154 total yards and forcing Justin Fields out with a concussion. After building a 20-0 lead, the Bills controlled the game despite late Jet scores. The win showcased Buffalo's balance and stifling defense early in this season. To Pittsburgh, I love you, Seattle. Thank you for beating the Steelers. Seahawks get the win 31-17. George Halani scored his first NFL touchdown on a kickoff return as the Seahawks beat the Steelers 31-17. Sam Darnold threw for 295 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Kenneth Walker added 105 on the ground as well as a late touchdown. Seattle dominated the second half, outgaining Pittsburgh 395-267 in total yards and making key defensive plays to bounce back from their season opener. In Baltimore, the Ravens, to celebrate their 30th anniversary, just decided to plummet on their old team. They get the dub 41-17 over Cleveland. Lamar threw 4 touchdowns as the Ravens absolutely BTA'd the Browns. Baltimore scored 21 straight points in the fourth, highlighted by a block punt, fumble recovery, and pick 6. While holding Cleveland to 45 rushing yards, Devontae Walker caught 2 touchdowns, and Roquan Smith returned a sack fumble for a touchdown. The win improved Baltimore to 1-1 and showcased their defensive dominance. In Arizona, the desert, the Cardinals hold off the Panthers to win a 5-point game 27-22. Calais Campbell, a name that I have not heard of in a while, was able to seal the dub on Sunday for the Cardinals' win over the Panthers with a game-ending sack after Carolina mounted a furious comeback. Arizona led 27-3 late in the third, but Bryce Young threw 3 second-half touchdowns. Kyler Murray threw for 220 yards and added a 30-yard scramble, with James Conner, Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride contributing key scores. The Cardinals were able to improve to 2-0, surviving the scare thanks to Campbell and a resilient defensive effort. To the Super Bowl rematch in KC, the Eagles fend off Kansas City 20-17. The Eagles held off the Chiefs in their Super Bowl rematch thanks to touchdown runs by Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, as well as a key fourth down interception by Andrew Macomba. Philadelphia's defense limited KC to 294 yards and forced a crucial turnover on fourth down. While Hurts' goal line push sealed the win, the Eagles improved to 2-0, extending their 17-1 impressive streak. To the Sunday night game, Falcons put absolute BTA to the Vikings 22-6. Bijan Robinson ran for 143 yards and Tyler Algier added another 67. As the Falcons beat the Vikings 22-6, with rookie kicker Parker Romeo making all 5 field goals. Second-year QB Michael Penix was efficient, while Atlanta's defense sacked J.J. McCarthy 6 times and forced turnovers. The Falcons rookies, including Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Billy Bowman Jr., and Xavier Watts, made key plays to secure the win. Also for the Vikings, Justin Jefferson reached 500 career receptions, becoming the youngest player in NFL history to do so. To our Monday night games, the Wild finish in Houston as the Bucs get the 20-19 win. Baker Mayfield led the Bucs to the late touchdown run by Rachaad White. Mayfield threw for 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and converted a key fourth down, giving Tampa the 2-0 start. Emeka Egbuka added 2 early touchdowns, and the Bucs rushed for 169 yards. Houston fell short despite Nick Chubb's late score, gaining just 84 rushing yards. To our final game, the Chargers out in the desert in Las Vegas get the win 20-9. The Chargers defeated the Raiders on Monday night, improving to 2-0. Justin Herbert threw for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 60-yard score to Quentin Johnston. Los Angeles' defense intercepted Geno Smith 3 times, despite losing Khalil Mack to an early injury, outgaining the Raiders 317 to 218 in total yards. Alrighty, y'all. That will do it for my Week 2 recap. I know this one was a tiny bit shorter, but still in that range. Still in that good range right there. But yeah, thank y'all for listening, watching. Make sure to go check out my Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all that. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. And yeah, y'all made it to the end. Y'all a real one. Appreciate it. This has been Inside the 20. Peace.